should like definitely think about joining private health insurance?
So if you're healthy, of course, if you're
Mm-hmm.
healthy, young means under 35 or under 40, something like this, and
Okay.
have a high salary, of course. Otherwise, you can't join. They should definitely
Mm.
talk with me. If they want to join, they can decide after. But I think, sorry to say so, it's a no-brainer. So you just look at the
Okay.
numbers and see, okay, I will pay, even if in the best possible tariff, I will pay 800 euros, for example, still save money. And there's something we didn't talked about. You get a bonus if you don't cost the insurance company any money. So for example, don't go to the doctor because you are healthy, then
Mm-hmm.
the insurance company will pay you. Yeah, because they say,
Okay.
okay, you didn't cost us any money. And then you still save money on a monthly basis. You get those bonuses. And if you have anything like an accident or a chronic illness you didn't know about, or you get
Mm-hmm.
cancer or whatever, you will get the best treatment in Germany. And I can say, in my experience, the German doctors are very great, but only if they get paid much.
They're only great when you're private insurance
No,
customer.
not always, but some as in my experience, I'm in the private health system like 5 years now, 6 years now, and I
Okay.
had one accident where I broke my finger, and I had the severe lung thing yet now, and both of the times they really had time for me. I had a fast appointment, and I didn't feel just as a number, yeah,
Okay.
and in my experience, that's worth more than saving money. Yeah,
Mm.
and
Yeah,
save money on top of it.
definitely.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are two main differences we didn't talk about. The first difference is you
Mhm.
always have to pay first in the private health system. So if you're in the
Okay.
public
Okay.
system, you just go to the doctor, you have your card, and then give it to the people there, and then they will give the receipt to the insurance company directly. So you don't
Mhm.
have to do anything despite paying copay for prescriptions and so on. In the
Mhm.
private system, you always have to pay first because you will get the receipt, not the insurance company. So you are the patient and
Okay.
you are the payer. But today, 10 years ago, it was different. But today, nearly most of the companies in Germany have a good app or a good digital way to hand in those prescriptions, to hand in those receipts. And for my case, I'm at Hanse Merkur. I get my money in 1 or 2 weeks after I handed the receipt in, and the payment notice period is like a month or so. So I have my money before I have to pay the doctor. It's not in every case, of
Mhm.
course, but most cases. But you always have to pay first. That's a big difference.
So
And
in this scenario, let's assume if someone has a huge bill, so if they were in a
oh,
severe case of
yeah.
accident.
See, I'm such in my world that I didn't think of such topics, but no, it's not like in the US where you have to go to the hospital and have to pay one, I don't know, 200,000 euros or whatever.
Uh,
So if you're going to the hospital, the insurance company will make it directly with the hospital, so you are just in between. And if it's a high
mhm.
bill, for example, you have to go to the main doctor because you're a cancer patient or whatever, so you don't
Mhm.
have to go to the hospital directly, then of course they will discuss it because then the private company will say to the doctor, I will look exactly what are you doing because that's a huge
Mhm.
amount of money for me. And of course, you don't have to pay, for example, 50,000 euros in advance. That's not the case.
Okay.
There's not a specific number where I can say, okay, until there you have to pay, and then you don't have to pay. If you have having trouble to pay front up, then you just call your insurance company, or if you're going with us, we call them and say, hey, you have to pay because he can't
Okay.
pay. Yeah. So
Mhm.
you don't have to have this in mind. If it's a real problem, a high bill, you don't have to pay for. You have to pay first. It's just for the little things like going to the dentist, having your cleanings, going to the mind doctor, getting painkillers and things like this. So my
Mhm.
highest receipt was when I got my wisdom teeth removement plus some cleaning and so on, and it was like 1,000 euros or something. That was the highest I ever had.
Okay. So when you said like we have to pay, or the person on private insurance has to pay, like suddenly like the USA scenario came in mind, like
No,
someone has
oh,
50,
no,
60
we
or
don't
more
have
than
US
100,000 euros.
scenarios here. We don't have US. Even so, for example, I can tell you this story. I had a woman coming from Singapore. It was Singapore, yeah.
Okay.
And she said, "Okay, Marcel, I want to join the private system, but I'm so desperate when I get a kid and I have to, I don't know, pay 10,000, 20,000 in advance because I'm giving birth." And then I said to her, the best part here in Germany, if you are in the private health system and you have a good tariff, you will get paid if you're giving birth. You don't have to pay anything. Everything will be covered, and that's no lie or so. In the premium tariffs, you will have a bonus paid you one time bonus if you're giving birth as a woman, of course, and giving birth in the hospital, and you will get, for example, 300 euros, 500 euros, and everything will be covered.
Okay.
So no US scenario here.
Okay, that is good to know.
The second thing is daily sickness allowance. So, for example, if
Okay.
you are ill more than 6 weeks, until the 7th weeks, the employer will pay you still 100% of your salary. And then after 6 weeks, you get Krankengeld, it's called in Germany, from the public system.
Yeah.
It's approximately 60% of your net salary, but it's capped. The cap is like 3K something. Yeah. And
Okay.
in the private system, you have to have an option. It's called daily sickness allowance. They will pay you for every day sick after, for example, 6 weeks. But you can have, you have to have this option, but you can choose how much they will pay and when they will pay. So, for example, some people don't need money after 6 weeks. They will need money after 3 months or whatever. You can choose what you want to have. But you have to have this option, and I would always recommend it. And I've seen so many expats and other people, self-employed people, they didn't have the option. And it will be a huge problem because, for example, it's not a big case, but for example, you had an accident with a car and you have to go to the hospital for 3, 4, whatever weeks. And then you have to stay at home for another 2, 3, 4 weeks or even more, or 3 months, for example, because you broke your back or whatever. It doesn't always have to be cancer or things like this. So then you stay at home and you don't get any money from anywhere. That's a big problem because you have to pay the contribution for the private system all by yourself because there's no employer anymore. And on top of it, you have to pay your rent and things like this, of course. So yeah, that's a huge difference. And you always have to think about it.
That's true.
And maybe as a bonus, I will always recommend you to save the money you would save against the public system, that you will never be in the situation that the private system will cost you more than the public system. Because mathematically, it's impossible. Take my scenario, if I would save the 600 euros a month, even if I just save it on my savings account, I don't invest it in or whatever I do with it, I just save it. Even then, I can't come in this situation where the private system will cost me more than the public. And if I save those 600 euros in a broad ETF or in a private pension with David or whatever, then there's no case in this world where I will ever be on a
paying
bad
more than the government
situation or pay more for the private system. And if I'm staying healthy my life and I won't get ill even not in retirement age, then I wouldn't always have a huge amount of income because I saved 30, 40 years, 600 euros a month. And of course, you can do it even if you don't have a consultation with me and are already in the private system. Please just save the money. I don't know.
Don't spend it all.
Don't spend it on whatever. Make good health insurance, make good investments. It's possible in Germany.
Yeah. Thanks, Marcel. This was a very interesting conversation. I'm really happy that we had this discussion. So again, if anyone wants to contact you, they can contact you with the first link in the description, and first consultation is always free.
Yes. Thanks for having me here. And I can just say, let's talk. And if you decide after we talked you don't want to join the private system, it's fine as well. But then you have all the information you need to make a good decision.
Yes, it's always better to have information. One thing that I do not like about the German culture is people always assume that you have all of the information, which
No,
is
no.
very bad.
In Germany, we say, or I'm angry about this saying, because most of the people say, or most of the people say, okay, I know this, but they don't know. They just have a meaning about it, but they don't know any facts. And even if you have the situation here, they will just say, no, the private health insurance is not good. But if you ask them why it's not good, they don't have any answers because they have no idea. And as you said, that's part of the German culture. Unfortunately, it's a big downside. They have lots of thoughts, but most of the time, no knowledge.
So inform yourself, make
Yes.
better health choices, get good health insurance.